When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
Wide open, touchdown!
This week, the Dallas Cowboys and Detroit Lions face off in a high-octane clash.
Look at this, it's on the money.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Cowboys and Lions, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Hello, it's Martin here, and before we get started today, I thought I'd let you know that this episode of Away the Podcast is sponsored by LiveScore Bet, a principal partner of Sunderland AFC. LiveScore Bet is the home of the total betting experience, combining LiveScore's real-time updates and stats with great odds and offers, all in one very slick and very easy-to-use betting app. For more information, visit livescorebet.com or download the LiveScore Bet app. Remember, it's for over 18s only, and please bet responsibly. For more information, go to gambleaway.org. Right, time for the intro music. Hello and welcome to Away the Podcast, sponsored by LiveScore Bet. It's Martin here, and you are joining us right on the full-time whistle as Sunderland got a brilliant 1-1 draw at Anfield and maybe could have got a little bit more. We'll go into it and react to all of the action that we've just seen. And joining me to do that is Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hello. It's an odd one. Great point, but just in those last seconds, I thought we were gonna grab a winner.
Oh man, it's one of them things, isn't it? When you're disappointed with a draw against last season's champions, and look, we know the troubles Liverpool have had this season, and potentially the fixture isn't as threatening and dangerous as it looked at the start of the season. But let's put this in context. We're coming away from Anfield, I think, disappointed that we haven't got all 3 points, while immensely proud and impressed of the performance that the team have put in. Because I thought from start to finish, we were absolutely fantastic. We were superb in different ways, in different parts of the game. I thought we managed the game really well. And I know we're going to come back to all of the action and all of the build-up to it. But to have that chance that Isidore had in injury time, Liverpool are piling on the pressure. They're kicking towards the Kop end. The feeling is, you get that sort of groundswell of momentum, don't you, at Anfield often? And, that you've got corner after corner, and we're defending for our lives. We've chucked on pretty much every defender we have, I think, at that point. And to have that opportunity for Isidore to go clean through, and for us not to capitalise on that, you can't help but feel a little bit like you've lost 2 points.
There's that tiny sense of what if. But listen, Isidore did the right thing. He tried to round the keeper. That's probably what the striker's handbook would have told him to do. So it just happened to be a good tracking back from, I think it was Chiesa.
It was,
so no problem with Isidore. And yeah, you said the word there, Martin. Just proud of them. Just so proud of that team. They were fantastic. And again, something you said there that's really important. We were fantastic in different ways. This wasn't just a backs to the wall, hacking it off the line, Jurgen Macho style. The keepers had to pull off goodness knows how many saves. we've hit the woodwork twice. We've had that chance with Isidore. Roofs really hasn't had a lot to do. Their goal, there's an element of flukiness around it, man, for Christ's sake.
Oh.
Liverpool.
Well, it wasn't going in, was it?
No. So Liverpool are probably thinking, we've got out of jail there. There's that little sense of, if only we could have got those 2 extra points. But other than that, just so impressed with them. And had we won, they would have deserved it. But still, getting all the credit in the world off me. I think they did themselves proud. They did us proud. And we are now establishing ourselves as a top half team. And I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon.
No, it says a lot as well when I suspect Liverpool will be happier in hindsight with a point than we are, which tells me everything. Right, we'll go to the very start of the game. There was obviously a couple of changes to the team. Brian Broby came in for his first start for us. Trey Hume came back into the side. And when you look at the team selection, obviously Traore and Isidore dropped out. You looked at it on paper and you go, well, that's 5 at the back. We're going to go back to that sort of system that we saw away at Chelsea and home to Arsenal and in a couple of other games as well. But it was a different shape, wasn't it? Trey Hume seemed to be playing on the right-hand side of midfield, where he'd come on as sub on Saturday. And it was a more traditional sort of Regis Bris Sunderland formation. He had Lefebvre pushing up to support Brian Broby when he could. And I thought that worked really well. Were you surprised with the team selection? Or do you kind of expect a couple of changes to mix things up a bit?
I did have an inkling that we might go with the 4 at the back that we'd seen against Bournemouth at the weekend. And sometimes it was kind of like 4.5 at the back because Hume would drop further back if needed. I mean, tactically, we are so astute now. There was times in the second half where Xhaka was looking like he was playing in central defence. And then there's other times when he's the furthest man forward, he's getting across past the halfway line. So they don't have to stick to a rigid formation, a rigid structure. There is that flexibility there to move during the game, and I think that's really good that we've got that tactical adeptness in us. But as I say, I had an inkling that we'd stick with the 4. I can well understand though why he wanted to get Hume in the team, and I can well understand why he wanted to bring Broby in for his first start. And like 99% of Bris's decisions, the team have then proven him to be right and backed up the calls to set the team up like that. Just every player contributed, and then the substitutes that came on had contributions as well. There was no fluke with those substitutions. Bris will have known when he wanted to bring those players on and how he wanted them to impact the game. So a couple of changes, but it just proves what we already know, mate, that Bris has got he's fully across the squad. He knows what it can do, and he knows how to get the best out of it.
That's right. And it was such an interesting start to the game. You know, I was listening to the podcast that Gav did with Craig from the Anfield Wrap, and he said that Liverpool would need to start quickly, put pressure on us, get the crowd going. And I thought we managed that opening period of the game so well. We looked like the home side. We were calm in possession. I don't think Liverpool had been in our box at all. There was a stat that came up on 18 minutes. They hadn't had a touch in our box yet. In the first 20 minutes, they did not touch the ball in our box. That was how good we controlled that opening bit of the game. And, you know, the only little bits of trouble that we got into, I think Ballard gave the ball away once, and there was a long-range shot. Roofs gave the ball away once. There were things of our own creation. The vast majority of stuff we controlled brilliantly. And you're just looking for that little opportunity to get a goal. And, you know, Alderete had one long range. He had a bicycle kick, didn't he? Trey Hume smacked one against the bar. It looked... Honestly, if you'd put somebody in front of those two teams and said, one of them won the championship in that division, one of them's the Premier League champions, and one of them came up through the playoffs in the championship last season, you would have struggled to pick out which one was which. And you would probably said we were the one in the ascendancy. We were the better side because we just looked in in complete control. And as you say, the performance that we put in, it was not a defensive performance. Liverpool have only had 4 shots on target. And that's not because of the want to try in. It's because we defended so well. We kept them at arm's length. And they occasionally, tried to push through and went out for a goal kick, or they ended up getting the ball cleared because we defended so well and we were throwing our bodies on the line. But the control that we had of that game was just so impressive. I love watching us from that perspective, as well as on the ball and attacking and all that sort of stuff. Just how organised we are, and the effort that the players put into defend. They love defending, and we controlled that game brilliantly in that first half.
Exactly. It's really important to emphasise those things you're saying about being in control, keeping them at arm's length. I think there's a possibility that on a highlights package, they might show those last final few minutes after Liverpool have equalised and try and tell the story that we were just hanging on in for dear life. But you're right. Prior to that, we were comfortable. There was times in the first half where, dare I say it, it was easy for us. I mean, there was times when we were literally stood still with the ball. Just nout's a matter, nothing, no problem whatsoever. Just looking around, who do we want to pass it off to? The movement was good. There was times when the players in defence were able to bring it forward and try and make something happen. It was. I've never known a Sunderland team be like this. I've known Sunderland teams do well and go away to big sides and give them a battle and get into their faces and that. But yeah, you're exactly right. There were times when you would have looked at that and thought Sunderland are the superior team, or Sunderland are the team with European experience, because there were spells when we cruised through it. And yes, Liverpool's best chances nearly all came from slips by ourselves, not because they'd done anything particularly good to unlock us. It's you can probably just tell by looking at my face, Martin. It's hard to put into words how I'm feeling about the way that the team are going. You said there though that you love watching us defend. I don't think I'd agree on that point, because it doesn't matter what state the club is in. My heart is always in my mouth any time the opposition have the ball. We could be top of the league and I'd be panicking.
But you know what it is, right? The defensive work that we do, it keeps them 30 yards out.
Yeah.
35 yards out. It's not as if it's like last-ditch defending all the time and chucking ourselves in the way of the ball in the 6-yard box and getting a lucky deflection. It's actually the way that we're organised. It's like a boxer just holding a little kid.
Yeah.
And they can't get you, and they get frustrated. And that's what's so impressive about what we do. It's such a well-organised team. And look, there's a part of me that's a bit relieved as well, because you look at that Fulham game and you go, okay, have we gone up our peak of that that excitement and that initial momentum coming back into the Premier League? You get into winter, the long nights, dark nights, the cold days. Oh, is this going to be the tough winter that we kind of envisaged when we looked at the fixture list? And that Fulham performance kind of gave you a little bit of pause for thought and going, oh, is that going to be the normal now, or was that a one-off? The game against Bournemouth on Saturday, and now this one, show you that Fulham game was a complete one-off.
Yeah. We always, this season so far, have responded well to defeats. And that's just testament to the mentality amongst the players. They never flap. They never look worried. There was times during the game towards the end there where Liverpool were putting a bit of pressure on. The players themselves weren't necessarily panicking. I was biting my nails and wiping the sweat off my brow, but they just take it all in their stride. And yeah, you're going to lose every now and again in the Premier League, but the players have such belief in themselves. They're well drilled. They're talented. They're They obviously trained to a high level because, the fitness levels were there. They were fantastic as well. We're just, they must be so confident in their own ability because they know that everything they can do to prepare for games, they are doing. So yeah, December was supposedly meant to be a tough month, but so far so good. They've just kept doing what they've been doing for pretty much all the season.
And in that first half, I say we had a few chances. There weren't, I don't think we would score highly on Martin O'Neill's favourite XG stats, but there were long ranges, weren't there? The Trey Hume effort I thought that was rattling in the back of the net when he nipped in and got the ball. And I think that was a benefit of having Trey Hume playing a little bit further up the field, where he could win that tackle and anticipate the ball, nip in, and it opened up in front of him. Struck the ball well. I think Alisson probably wished he got a little bit more on it. I think he didn't cover himself in glory with that, but he managed to tip it onto the bar. And up until that point, that was pretty much the closest that either side had come. I think we'd had that Wirtz chance where it kind of deflected off him and Roofs got the ball and deflected back, and it just went past the post, didn't it? But, again, to keep Liverpool for 45 minutes, and that's their best chance, where it's a bobbly one going through. Yeah. Again, just kind of tells you what we did in that first 45 minutes.
Well, that chance for them was through. That was the one where it was Roof's mishit. Yeah, he was trying to pass the ball like a long range pass. Now you could very easily crumble under that situation, and yet he switched on straight away. He's got his angles right, and that could have bounced back off Wirtz and gone in, but it didn't. Roof's got himself out of trouble. Yeah. Because he's composed enough to know what to do. So yeah, even in the moments where we make mistakes, we're not then compounding it by them being flaky. We're recovering. Hume, he must be thinking playing on the right wing's easy, because all he had to do was he just tackle the ball and either cross it in or have a pop a goal and make Alisson worry. I think it was only a few moments after that thing you mentioned earlier, that Aldrete bicycle scissor kick thing. I don't know what you would call it. If that had gone in, I would have been taken away. Yeah, because that was just unreal. We've got defenders now who can, in front of
bicycle kicks at Anfield.
Aye, that's the level we're talking at now. Wow. It's just crazy. Just crazy.
No, that's fantastic. We'll take a very short break there. We'll be back after a couple of ads.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to How We're, the podcast sponsored by LiveScore Bet, and you've joined me and Andrew, who are kind of just having the crack. We don't really know what to make of it when you're a little bit disappointed, but thoroughly proud of the lads and getting that point at Anfield. And, we talked about the first half before the break, Andrew. Second half, as you'd expect, I think Liverpool had got a kick up the arse at half time. And they came out kicking towards the cup. And you go, okay, this is going to be a different game to the first half. And like I said before, I thought we were really impressive in different ways during the course of the game. I thought first half we matched them, bettered them in actually playing football. I thought we were the dominant side. I thought we controlled the game, even though we didn't have the ball all of the time. I thought we controlled the game, even when Liverpool had the ball. For the first bit of that second half, you're going, are Liverpool going to turn it on here? Are they going to turn the dial up? say they'd obviously had a bit of a blast in this at half time, and they looked more purposeful. I think Salah came on at half time as a sub, didn't he? And very early on, the referee seemed to miss a couple of fouls on us. I think Siddiqui got taken out by Kanate, which I don't know how the hell he didn't get booked, by the way. If you look at some of the bloody things that people pick up yellow cards for, he was a walking yellow card all game and didn't get a yellow card. There was a Salah handball that he missed, and you kind of go, "Oh, is this gonna turn? Is it gonna be a backs to the wall second half?" But once we'd ridden out that initial storm, we again kind of took control of the game. It's kind of it petered out relatively quickly, didn't it?
It did, and listen, it's nothing against Sunderland saying that Liverpool had a few periods in the game where they looked to be building up a head of steam. I mean, they're the champions, man. They're gonna have moments in the game where you think, oh, we need to knuckle down now. There was parts in that first part of the second half, I was actually ever so slightly disappointed with Sunderland because I thought we got a bit sloppy in possession.
Yeah.
And we maybe invited Liverpool to start having a go at us. So, talk about being picky, critical, because we weren't at our very, very best. But you talked about Salah coming on there. I just thought Reinildo was absolutely fantastic against him. Just one of those. He's got all the experience of a player who's been playing for years, but he's got the energy levels of somebody in his early 20s, not his early 30s.
Yeah.
He was. Most of them were fantastic, but Reinildo just superb the way he dealt with Salah.
Well, I think he was involved in the incident that turned the tide of that second half. And that was when we'd been under a bit of pressure. We got the ball. Xhaka played a beautiful pass out to the left-hand side that forced Reinildo to bomb down that flank. He got in front of Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez clattered him, got a yellow card. And I think that was a reminder to Liverpool that, oh shit, these are dangerous. These can actually catch us. And I think that from that moment on, the game sort of swung back into the middle where it was both sides going at each other, and Liverpool didn't want to overcommit because they could see what was possible on the break.
But very, very possibly because Liverpool are thinking, hang on, this isn't meant to happen. Teams aren't meant to come here and give us headaches. You're right, they expect teams to just sit back and say, right, come and break us down. So yeah, the fact that we were then showing our ability to catch them on the break just puts a little bit of doubt in the back of their mind. I think you're right, that was a moment where the momentum shifted again back in our favour. I seem to think it wasn't long after that Aldrete hit the outside of the post from a set piece. Have I got that mixed up, or was that roughly right?
Immediately after that, we had an opportunity where Talby broke and he had an opportunity to shoot, but he tried to play it across the box and Liverpool cleared it. A minute or so after, we got a corner from the left-hand side and Aldrete hit the post, coming in with again, brilliant corner, really fizzed in. Aldrete storm and run in, got a little glance and header, hit the outside of the post. And then we had the sub, Broby, coming off. So I actually thought Broby did well on his first appearance. I thought he held the ball up well. Against Kanate, he was really strong. He won a few free kicks. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult game for a striker in that sort of situation. But the Talby opportunity where it opened up from him, I think that was the one where Broby held the ball up really well and played Talby in, and it opened up from there. But of course, shortly after, we go 1-0 up. And Van Dijk did kind of what we'd done on a couple of occasions, hadn't been punished for. It's a bit sloppy, gave the ball away. Enzo Olafay threw it to Talby. And I did think Talby, there again, he passed a few moments earlier when he had the opportunity to shoot. This time, he looked around and didn't see a really obvious pass on, so he just gave it a crack, didn't he? And I think, if you're going to be completely honest, we got maybe a little bit fortunate with the deflection, took the ball away from the goalkeeper, but it was a shot on target. We were having to go, and I think, if you're going to be hypercritical about us over recent games, sometimes we don't take those opportunities to shoot when they present themselves. On this occasion, Talby did, and it just paid its rewards, didn't it? It went right in the corner. Sunderland 1-0 up at Anfield.
Say that again, Martin.
Sunderland were 1-0 up at Anfield.
Yeah, it's one of those classic sayings: if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. He's had the shot on goal. He's made that happen. Yes, there was a slice of luck to it, but again, Lefay is in the right position. He plays a real simple pass to Talby, but it's simple because he's in the right position to pounce on the slip. It's just one touch into Talby, and yeah, he's obviously not convinced that he's got any better options. No harm in that case then of just having a dig and seeing what happens. And in this instance, it's flown in. You would say at that point, Sunderland probably deserved that element of luck to the goal because we had tried to play some decent football. We had put Liverpool under pressure, made them do things they didn't want to do. The reason Liverpool are losing the ball in defence is because we've worked bloody hard and we've made them
exactly right.
nervous. Yeah, we've made them nervous. We've made them start to get frustrated. And when you're frustrated, errors creep in. So, all right. Talby's shot didn't fly directly in, but he still gets a bit of credit for having a go and making it happen.
And shortly after that, 2 minutes after that, there's a penalty shout. So we have a long throw, and Nordi Mukiele, who, it was interesting, Jeff Brown had said on the podcast with Gavin Chris on Sunday that Mukiele's throws didn't seem to be as long. Mukiele had his left hand bandaged up, so you kind of wonder whether that's something to do with that. I also noticed that he didn't have a sponsor on his shirt in the first half, and he did in the second half, which was he'd obviously picked up the wrong shirt somehow before the game.
I'd noticed in the first half there was no sponsor. I hadn't clicked in the second half. Yeah, maybe this don't know what's happened there, but
I prefer the sponsorless shirt, so you know.
Well, listen, I mean, again, this just shows how good things are going. That you and I are now discussing about whether a player's got a sponsor on his shirt. Normally, in the past, it's like, oh, I can't stand him. He was rubbish, or we're a one-man team, or whatever. We're now quibbling over whether a player's put the right shirt on or not before the game. I mean, just heady times. And I that was a good spot with the bandaging on his arm. I don't know if that was just in tribute to Dennis Sirkin or if he's got if there's a bit of an issue there. But hey, still he was able to still launch the ball, and the chances of Sunderland getting a penalty like that away at Anfield are slim, sadly.
Now, well, as it turned out, it was. I've got a bit of a problem with that, though, because he had a hold of him. He then pushed him. And if you look at the penalty that got given up the road yesterday for exactly the same type of thing, that on Ballard was 100 times more convincing than what Newcastle got. So one of two things can happen after that decision in the Newcastle Spurs game. The referees this morning, they've got a thing out going, just a reminder, any contact in the box has to be really convincing to give a penalty in those situations, or it's right. That's the standard of giving a penalty. So I reckon there must have been something going on this morning that the referees have had an email out going, just be careful what you're giving in the box because that was a bit soft. Because that was worse than what got given at Newcastle.
I have to be honest, I haven't seen any of the Newcastle game. I've heard about it, and I've heard a few people say, flipping heck, they've had yet another fluky decision with VAR, and they've been given a bit of a leg up there. It does sound as if it was a really dodgy penalty for the Mags. So yeah, either the referees were all watching it, or like you say, they've had a memo. I don't know, do referees still have pages? Might have flashed up on their pager this morning, on or in the little referees WhatsApp group. Just make sure you're 100% adamant. I will probably catch up with those Newcastle highlights, and that'll probably annoy me now. If I now see that a decision that being given for them for something that wasn't as bad as the one on Ballard, that'll probably have it as throwing me toys out the pram. Could well have had an influence on the referee's decision making. As I say, away teams don't get penalties at Liverpool. They don't get penalties at Old Trafford. It's just the way it is. It's not right. But when I saw the incident, I didn't even think, oh, we could have a chance here. You just knew it wasn't going to happen.
I was waiting. I was waiting for him to get called over at the monitor. I could not believe it. He didn't. And that's probably my red and white tinted spectacles. I will admit that. But then 10 or 11 minutes later, the game's level, and again, it almost kind of comes out of our own making to some extent. I think Alderete did really well to come across and cover. And look, to be fair to him, he's looking for an opportunity to keep the ball in play, keep possession, not keep the pressure on us. Good. At the time, I thought it was good ball up the line. Talby, I think in hindsight, he should have just probably wellied it up the line and tried to keep it in. Loose touch from Talby gets pounced on, wriggles inside the box. But that shot's going bloody close to the corner flag than it is to the far post. Clips off Mukiele's inside calf and then goes, Roofs nearly got to it as well. And it was, it's probably one of those things that Liverpool needed that type of goal to score.
Yeah. They didn't look up to that point as if they were going to fashion a proper chance for themselves.
No.
It was really hard to bear that one. A bit like I said with Isidore, you can't really blame him for that chance. He's tried to do the right thing he's picked up possession in the halfway line and bombed forward and rounded the keeper. He's tried to do the right thing. Michele as well, there can be no blame apportioned to him.
Oh, no, not at all.
He has to try and go and engage. Just one of those things where he's first picked up the ball, he's got a bit of speed on him as he's getting into the box. And it was a gut punch because, as I say, I hadn't been too worried before that point. And then, the shot was going to whistle high, wide, and 9 times out of 10 would have had the Liverpool fans groaning. They've just had that slice of luck. It was hard to take, wasn't it? It was hard to take. But you cannot. I know what you're saying. Maybe Alderete could have put a bit more distance on the ball, and maybe Talby was just half a yard. He wasn't quite on his toes at that exact moment. But I don't know. I can't be too critical of the team in general for that goal.
No, I think it's one of those things where it's really easy in hindsight to look at it and go, well, actually, if we'd done this differently, but you can probably apply that logic to every single goal that's either scored or conceded, can't you?
Yeah.
And if Talby had turned and played out to the right and we'd gone on to score, you'd be going, that was brilliant from Alderete because he kept the ball in play, kept possession. And it's just football. I think there'll be a bit of thought in Talby's head about the need to, whether it's to sharpen up. And I think, look, he's been on the bench for the last however many weeks, hasn't he? He hasn't had much football until he came back into the team on Saturday. But he gave a loose ball away on Saturday and Bournemouth scored. He was a little loose in possession there, and Liverpool got that goal. So, there's potentially something for him to work on. But again, I think for a goal to be conceded from that position, it's 40 yards out when Liverpool get possession of the ball. So still an awful lot needs to happen until Liverpool score that goal.
Yeah.
And, it's just part of football, I think.
It is. I mean, he might have slightly been on his heels, but we're talking about fractions here.
Oh, it's fractions of seconds, isn't it?
It's so minimal. And again, it's against a quality team, so Liverpool have reacted and whipped the ball away from him. Alderete, I know exactly what you're saying. It's drummed into Sunderland. We need to try and keep possession. And that's just the price you have to pay every now and again for doing that. Because like you say, if he'd put it into row Z, that's Liverpool keeping us hemmed in, and it's a long throw into the box. You don't know when we're going to get a chance to break out again. So Bris, probably it's one of those you have to take the rough with the smooth. Over the course of the season, a willingness to keep hold of the ball and try and keep possession will benefit us more often than it'll catch us out. I think.
And we've seen it countless times, haven't we, where particularly Alderete plays the ball in. It's usually Siddiqui who receives it in that position, and Siddiqui can use his body and turn, and all of a sudden you've got a break on. So I don't think you can apportion any blame to, right? And again, even if you go, right, it was a terrible touch. Even if you said it was a terrible touch from Talby, completely messed it up. As I say, you've still got however many players in between the ball and the goal to defend that situation, and it was just. I'm kind of lost for words in terms of like that, because it was such a gut punch, and it really was a crap goal to concede. It was such. They didn't. If they scored a beautiful goal where they wellied it in the top corner and worked the situation really well, you kind of go, okay, we're being cut apart there.
Yeah.
We weren't cut apart at all, which is good. I'd rather we weren't cut apart, but I just think after Liverpool got possession, we could have probably defended that situation a little better.
But possibly, yeah, possibly. But again, just what a position to be in. That we're now, it's a few minutes after full time and we're starting to calm down. We are now ever so slightly rueful that a potential half error or half mistake has cost us the win, rather than Liverpool were just too good for us and we couldn't live with them. Alderete as well, I think, has done really well coming back into the team. I make no bones about it. I'm in love with the guy. I think he's brilliant. And Talby, to be fair, he showed a couple of nice little flashes, a couple of nice bits of skill as well.
No, he's good. I like him on the left. I like him on the left because he can come inside in his right, can't he, and cause a bit of bother. But look, and then the last bit of the game, Liverpool pile on the pressure. The commentators are all talking up Liverpool's chances of getting a winner. The crowd seem to think 7 minutes of added time, which I'm not sure where they got 7 minutes from compared to the 1 minute in the first half. But that's another story. That's going to be, when we do another Room 101 thing, that's going to be I've got a list going. It's quite long now, but referees' timekeeping for added time is certainly on there. But I thought we handled it really well. I don't think we really gave Liverpool a sniff. I thought Roofs did brilliantly coming out and claiming the ball in the air and taking the pressure off the defence, which is I love that bit of his game. I think he's a fantastic all-round goalkeeper, but his ability to come off his line and claim the ball and relieve the pressure on the defence is outstanding.
It's huge, and he's a bit of a tinker as well. There's a couple of times he's claimed crosses now, and he's fallen down and just rubbed his head and just tried to kill the flow of the game. Maybe the referees had to come over and check if he's all right. So he's a smart lad, and his handling of crosses is brilliant. And if you're a defender in that situation, it must be so comfortable for you knowing what isn't going to happen with the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You mentioned there, Martin. You just mentioned the word the commentators there. I don't know if you have the same commentary team as people back in the UK or what, but just at the kickoff, the commentator said something about Arne Slot so far had won every single game against promoted teams. And then he said, but Sunderland are like no other promoted team.
Mm.
And then Carragher referred to Siddiqui, I think, as one of the best young players in the Premier League. And then in the second half, it was just a throwaway line. He said something about Sunderland have been the story of the season so far. I mean, when Gav was talking in the preview pod saying people are starting to take notice and speak about us in glowing terms, he's not wrong, like.
Oh, no.
Neutrals are looking at us and are impressed with what we're doing here. Whenever you watch Liverpool, there's all the cliches come out on the TV, the atmosphere at Anfield on a nighttime game, and they're a big club and all of this. And sometimes you think, do the commentators want Liverpool to get a last minute winner? Is there some sort of big club bias and all that type of thing, all the daft stuff that crosses your head? but we weren't some sort of like tin pot team to the slaughter there. We were there giving as good as we got, and people are noticing it, and people are saying good things about Sunderland, and this is all shaping up good. Martin,
it is.
when's this going to end? When are we going to wake up and realise that this is all just complete fabrication in our minds?
Hey, this could just be the start, couldn't it?
Yes,
Could just be the
that's
start.
the attitude.
No, we had Conor McNamara. I nearly said Conor McGregor. Conor McNamara and Jim Beglin commentating. And what I found interesting, they, on a number of occasions, referred to us as newly promoted side, which we are. I think whether you use the word newly is in December is another thing. I know technically we are, but this side has been put together. You know, I was kind of looking at our defence in that first half. I was like, well, Reinildo was playing in La Liga last season. Alderete was in La Liga Team of the Year last season. You've got Mukiele, who, you know, we've talked about extensively over the course of the season. But he was playing in Germany last season. Got Granit Xhaka, who won the league title in Germany a season or so ago. You've got all of these players who've come in. This isn't the side that it's a club that got promoted. It's this whole club and side thing and team thing, which I keep banging on about. The club got promoted last season. This team isn't a newly promoted team. This team's been put together to take on the Premier League, and by God, we are doing it.
It has been put together, and they are all quality players. But I tell you what, it's not easy. You can't just stick a load of quality players on the training ground and say, "Go on, lads, make what you can of that."
Yeah.
Are we now game 13, game 14? I'm not
14, I think.
Aye, and yeah, there's understandings and relationships between players. They know their roles and what their teammates are likely to do. You said earlier, didn't you, about how if the two teams were playing without badges on their shirts, and you just said one of these is a title-winning side, which one is it? You would look at Sunderland's performances recently and think this is a team who have been playing well for a long, long time and have grown together. You said it earlier, this might only just be the start of things, and if this is us at the start, with the players only just settling down, and a lot of them have moved to England for the first time.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, I mean, imagine if one or two of those players are thinking, "Oh, next season, once I found my feet, I'm going to really kick on." I mean, flip my neck.
You know, but it's logical, isn't it, to think that this is only the beginning of the potential of this team, because they're still getting used to each other, still learning about each other. It's not a team that's been playing together for 18 months, 2 years, and you've had one or two players come in to supplement it. You know, they're still getting settled off the pitch, they're still getting settled on the pitch. You've still got our record signing, Habib Diarra, to come back into the side at some point, which that's an exciting prospect in itself, isn't it? And you know, hopefully we'll see him sooner rather than later. You've got Romain Mundle to come back into the side, and I think he's one of the players from last season who can absolutely make the step up the same way as Dan Ballard has. So you've got all of these other bits to come in as well, which is fantastic. But we've talked about the Isidore chance. As an opportunity, you're not going to get a better chance to win a game at Anfield. And it couldn't have fell to a better player for us than it did. I'm with you. I think he did everything right. The lad gets back to defend well. I think there was actually a shirt pull on him as he was going through, which, you know, again, could have been interesting from a VAR perspective if the game had been played at St. James's Park and been wearing black and white. That's another story. The only criticism I would say with this, though, he's just got Welliot there. He's just got to put his foot through it. And I don't know if he was slightly off balance and didn't get the connection he wanted on it. But he'll be waking up, seeing that chance, reliving that chance in the middle of the night for a little while, won't he? Because it was such a good opportunity. You're not going to get a better chance to win a game in any stadium.
No, you're right. He'll be waking up in anguish. I think so will you and I. So will tens of thousands of other Sunderland fans, or tomorrow morning when they're going through the game in their minds. Roofs was gutted. I mean, Roofs, what a ball from him. I at first thought he'd scuffed it because Isidore you couldn't even see on the screen.
Yeah.
I thought, what you doing, man? And then suddenly it's like, oh bloody hell, we're clean through. It was a stunning ball. And you're right, Isidore loves a goal where he's picked up possession deep and just runs and runs and runs. I mean, had that gone in, that would have just been an iconic moment for Sunderland in the Premier League.
I think you saw the headlines. And because we've seen him put the ball away in situations like that before, haven't we? And it's just one of them things. But again, you look, if we are disappointed about missing a chance to win a game against the Premier League champions at their place, something's going right.
Exactly. And hey, listen, Isidore last year, he was absolutely wounded when he missed those two. Well, the penalties were saved against Burnley.
Yeah.
He was absolutely devastated. So the players needed to get round him, lift his head up, and his performances continued thereafter. So he's obviously got a bit of mental strength to him. He'll be devastated at the moment. Doesn't mean that the next time he plays, he's going to have a shocker. Hopefully he just comes, just picks up where he left off and says, right, well, that one didn't go in. I'll just have to score the winner against Man City on Saturday. How's that?
Or the week after, whichever one he wants. Talk about Roof's reaction to that chance. I forgot to ask you, when Talby scored and he did his little sleeping celebration, did you notice Noah Siddiqui?
No.
So Talby goes off celebrating. Talby's doing his little go to sleep celebration. Mookie Ailey's roaring at Talby, going, get in. And Siddiqui waves his finger in Mookie Ailey's face, goes, no, he's asleep.
But again, these are lads who come from different parts of the continent, speaking different languages, and yet they're cracking on as if they're the best pals who've grown up since they were at school together. I mean, at the end, Isidore and Gertrude, I thought for a moment that we're going to have a bit of a Barney.
Yeah.
And then there's all smiles and that.
Yeah.
So, there's disappointment they didn't win, which is an amazing thing to have. They're not resting on their laurels and thinking, we're the dogs' bits, the dogs, I don't know why I said the dog's bollocks, basically.
Hey.
They're thinking, we can improve and get even better in the weeks to come. But there is a camaraderie between them and a good relationship. That is another factor that is helping us. Those players are working hard for themselves, but working hard for each other. You have to go to Liverpool. They're a Champions League team. They've got quality all over the pitch. We have got quality as well, though, and we've got the right attitudes. And I feel as if at the end of every answer I give, I just want to end it with, I'm bloody proud of them and I love them to bits. Just everything you say at the moment, that they're brilliant to watch, and I couldn't be more behind this squad at the moment.
Now, on the club website, Regis Bris has just put his post-match comments out. So I'll just read those through. He said, after a good first half, we spoke at half-time and said that it was possible to push a little more because we played well. We just needed the belief that we could score. As expected, the opponent came back into the game with substitutes in the crowd, but we defended well and had the chance to score the second goal after the equaliser, but it wasn't to be. We always try until the end, but it wasn't an easy situation for Wilson. It was a 1-versus-1. He gave his best, but it wasn't enough. We were good for the opening phase, but after that, you need to break the defence and create chances. We didn't do that enough in the first half. We were maybe a bit surprised to have controlled the game, so we told the players to believe and push more because it was possible to score. Our ability to learn is one of the main strengths of this team. They are humble and they want to learn. In such a difficult league, if you don't learn every day, then it's impossible to sustain the level. Now, I tell you what, that's interesting about his comments in the first half, because you and I have waxed lyrical about how we controlled the game in the first half. He's saying we didn't do enough because we should have been able to score more and threaten more. and we perhaps didn't believe in ourselves enough to go and get that goal. So, we're not going to go back and dissect the first half again, but it just shows the attitude and the mindset of everybody, the players, the coaching staff, the club as a whole, that they're disappointed that we actually didn't give it more of a go in the first half. It's like, like sometimes it's like a parallel universe, isn't it? Going, why, what, like, how are we in this situation where even the manager's going, in the first half we didn't attack enough. We should have took the game more to them.
He's
brilliant.
Brilliant. He's brilliant. And you often hear managers say things and you wonder if it's just about keeping the players' feet on the ground. But with him, it's genuine. He's seen a couple of things that he thinks can be improved on, and he's just desperate to drive standards and keep everything going. I mean, we're recording this late at night, aren't we? For UK people, you say it's early in Australia. It's late night. It's just as well it's late night because I've said I love the players. I flipping love Bris even more, and this could turn into some sort of dodgy blue adult explicit podcast because I just can't express how much I'm into this fella at the moment. He is just perfect. He's getting the team playing brilliantly and thinks he's able to get them to improve on even that. The guy's amazing. To hear those comments is just wow. We are in such a good place. He obviously is loving it here and has real aspirations to keep taking the club forward. Long may it continue. And I love hearing his responses after games. He never says anything after a match where you're thinking, oh, that's a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to save himself, or the guy's clueless. He just seems to nail it every time.
No, he does. Towards the end of the game, we saw Luke O'Nien come on for his first Premier League appearance of the season. Obviously, he's been out with injury since the Sheffield United playoff final with his shoulder. Been back on the bench in the last few weeks. I think was Chelsea the first game he came back on the bench for. It was great to see. I'm not sure what position he played. He was kind of playing as a pseudo left wing centre forward in the closing stages, wasn't he? But it was great to see Luke O'Nien back on the pitch for Sunderland, wasn't it, Andrew?
Aye, brilliant for him, and he was beaming. He's another one who I'm absolutely in love with. I can't get enough of this squad at the moment. But he comes on, he's got a great big smile, and what's the first thing he does? He goes up into that left back area, and I think it's Salah. He's just pushing him, just winding him up, just trying to get on his nerves. And there's a few other times, like you say, he's popping up here, there, and everywhere, full of energy, just happy to get stuck in and put his body on the line. I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd been booked in those few minutes. I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd scored. It's just Luke O'Nien being Luke O'Nien, isn't it? Great story for him. He's been through a lot of rubbish with us, and yet he's knuckled down. I've a lot of respect for him. Really nice to see that he's now got that to be able to say that he's an actual Premier League player. And the bits and bobs he did, he did all right, didn't he? He didn't look out of place. It wasn't a sympathy thing. It wasn't Luke's a canny lad. Let's give him a few minutes in the Premier League. He came on with a job to do, and he helped us see the game out and get a brilliant point at Liverpool. So
certainly does.
Great for him.
Good stuff. Now, man of the match on the website. Andy has given man of the match to Reinildo. Get told off for saying Reinildo. 10 out of 10 performance, according to Andy, which I wouldn't disagree with. Who would get your vote?
Well, if we're talking about mispronunciations of Reinildo, this is to the fella who sits a couple of rows back from me at the Stadium of Light. He's not called Rivaldo. We do not have Rivaldo playing for us. So please stop shouting Rivaldo at him. Yeah, I think Reinildo would have been ironic if I'd then mispronounced his name. I think I probably would also give him man of the match. He was superb. He's he's becoming a really important player for us. Against Bournemouth, I thought he played fantastically, but he just had that nous as well. You know, the dark arts, all that stuff you expect from a player who's played under the manager he has at Madrid. He cocked up against Aston Villa and he let emotions get the better of him. But since then, he's been a really calm head. He can be a bit sly, he can be a bit sneaky, but he's a cracking player, and he's probably one of our more important players at the moment, I would say.
Oh, I think he is. I think when you look at the players going to AFCON, I think he's going to be the one that we miss the most.
Sadly so. But on the flip side, we have got our next home game, the one that's coming up, is an important game against the Mags, and there's going to be all sorts of skullduggery going on. You know what Joe Linton's like, and Bruno and all that lot. They just thrive on all of that kind of, well, it's shithousing, isn't it? but somebody like Xhaka, somebody like Reinildo, they're not going to fall for it. And if anything, they might do it the other way. See how that lot like it. So yeah, he will be a miss for us while he's away, but when he's been playing for us, been fantastic. And he was free. We got him for note.
I think he's been superb. He's one of my favourite players that we've got, and it's a long list of favourite players. I thought, going to tonight's game, I thought, again, Roofs did really well, especially take the pressure off when we were under pressure. He didn't actually have very many saves to make when you look back on the game. Say Liverpool only had 4 shots on target, and I think most of them were fairly straightforward ones for him to deal with. I thought Trey Hume did really well come back into the side.
Yeah.
I thought all across the back, Mukiele did great. Ballard did brilliantly once again. Alderete, I'm with you with Alderete. I love everything about him. I just love his style, how he plays, his composure on the ball, his ability to pass through the lines. I think he's brilliant. Reinildo, fantastic, as we talked about. I thought Xhaka and Siddiqui were brilliant together. And I thought, if you're going to look at where I guess it's reflected in Bris's comments that we've just spoken about. I thought Talaby did well when he had the ball. I thought Lafayette did well when he had the ball. I thought Broby did really well when he had the ball. But perhaps we didn't get the ball to them enough if you're going to be hypercritical about the whole thing. But again, we've gone to Anfield. We've drawn 1-1. We have not looked out of place at all. We've actually looked the better side, I think. I'm trying to be impartial, or sense check myself from an impartial perspective. And I think we looked the better side. I think we played fantastically well. We adapted that situation. We took it on head first. And I'm just excited to go to Man City now on Saturday and see what we can do there, because nothing in this league should hold any fear for us at all.
I couldn't agree more. It's just music to my ears. I wish I had a fantastic point to make on top of that, Martin, but you're absolutely spot on. We're now to be talking about ever so slightly disappointed we didn't beat Liverpool, but it's all right. We've got Man City next. We'll just have to go one better and beat them instead. I mean, what is going on, man? Crackers.
Well, we will be continuing the conversation, the debrief about Liverpool tomorrow on How We Are the Podcast. Oh, no, later today. It will be tomorrow. It will be later today. It's going to be, what am I talking about? It's going to be later today for me. It's going to be tomorrow in the UK.
Well, these pods, Martin, these reaction pods are meant to be a quick half an hour, aren't they? You and I have talked that long. We've probably gone over midnight, have we?
We're waxing lyrical about a brilliant performance. We can go on for hours and hours and hours, can't we? Anyway, in the morning, James Copley of the Sunderland Echo is joining us to have another debrief about the Liverpool game at Anfield tonight. And we will then begin the build-up to that Man City game as we go throughout the rest of the week. So thank you very much, Andrew. We will catch up with you soon.
Thank you for having me on, and just thanks, lads. You did us proud.
And thank you to everybody who is listening as well. Yeah, we're back tomorrow with more reaction to the Liverpool game and build up to the Man City game. And remember to visit rokerreport.sbnation.com for all of your content reviewing Liverpool game 2. Until tomorrow, or this is today, it's goodbye from us.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.